Hey, this is Bayo-san, and I'm going to be doing a Idolmaster deck profile. I'm going to go ahead and start. I got, for climaxes, I use 5 gates. What gates you use doesn't really matter. I just happen to use 5 different gates. Only used for the trigger. Here I go, 2k1 souls. I don't use the climax combo, so they're just 2k1 souls. You could change these with gates if you really wanted to. And a promo card, Coon Vampire Girl. It's instead of a 2k1 soul, there's gets 1k all and then draw one. So if you like your top card or something, you can use this to draw it and not give extra soul and toss 1k to everything. You want to get this PR card in Idolmaster 2 box as the PR card. So you can also change that for gate too. This deck can actually run all eight gates. I'm gonna start with level zeros. I'm gonna start with this one, Haruka Amami. What was it? When you play this from hand, reveal the top. If it was a climax, you put this to rest. So you play it, top climax goes to rest, and next turn I guess you can use it. It's a 3.5, so that's the reason of its demerit. Makoto Kikuchi. When this gets reversed, if the opponent is level 0 and lower, you can reverse it. And the secondary ability is when you can rest a card with assist, the assist keyword on it. When this card gets reversed a card, you can send that to the top deck. So it's good versus cards that have encore or has abilities that helps only when it's on the stage. Basically, it's field removal. Guaranteed for level zeros. Probably get a little harder on the higher levels. This is one of the restricted cards. I use 4 of them, of course. Easy Loss Asusa. Reveal the top. If it's a climax, this card cannot attack for the turn. So just like this one, when you play it, if it's a climax, it cannot attack. But it still remains in stand, so if you use any tapping abilities, you can use this card instead. And in the beginning of your opponent attack phase, you remove this empty front slot. Now that makes it really strong because it means this card can live for a long time. Because it's also pretty high powered. And the supports I'm going to show you makes it even stronger than it should be. This is one of the few reasons why this card is restricted and can't be played with certain cards. It's very strong. That's all there is to it. Reliable producer. Rest this. You can give one card 500 power for the turn. Decent for support, brainstorm support. The brainstorm is you pay 1, you mill 4. If there's any climax in there, you can take one character from hand, take that many characters from hand, a number of climaxes, and then discard that many cards from your hand to the waiting room. So it's a hand fix and just spammable. I use 1. I think 1's enough. 2 Mickeys, hidden talent Mickey. When you play this from hand to stage, you may pay 1 and discard a card, and if you do, you can salvage your character. So it's your salvager. Yep, that's it, your salvager. It has decent power, so that's also the reason why I use it. 2 short hair Asusa. When you play this from hand to stage, you can choose one other music character, and it gains 1.5 for the turn. The whole deck is music, so I wouldn't worry about that. But this is basically your power boost card. It's also a 2000 power, so it has a decent amount of power too, I guess. And the actual back row supports. Off time Makoto. On your opponent's turn, the card in front of this gains 1 level in 500. So this is the back row. It's on your opponent's turns. This would gain another level in 500 power, only for the opponent's turn. And then the other effect is you pay 2 and rest this. You can search for any music character from your deck and reveal it, and then shuffle the deck, obviously. So it's your toolbox card for a lot of stock. It's a really good card. People debated that this card should have actually got restricted instead due to other card combinations. Maybe I'll go through one some other day. Away from common life Takane. Assist 500 in front, and when you play this from hand, you can take. I guess I'll show you next. This event from your clock to your hand, and then you take a card from your hand and put on top of the clock. So it's only really basically get this in your hand faster when you really need it. Whoops. And that's all it's used for. This is arguably the better support. This is not too bad either. If you have to, you can use it as support, but most of the time I use it as just for the hand swapping, and then just throw it away. Level 1's I would say the main combo of the deck. Maybe I'm not sure. When I made this deck, I had this mostly in my mind. This deck is kind of revolved around this. As a 1/1 event counter, you cannot play this if you do not have a music card on the field, which the whole deck is music, so I would not worry about it. Choose one of your characters, and that card gains 2.5 power for the turn, and then you send this to memory. So basically it's a 1/1 2.5 counter that breaks even in a sense, because this also goes into memory. And it can save cards. It's a bit higher than normal 1/1 cards, so I think it's pretty good. To next stage, Haruka. When you play this from hand, you can check the top of your deck and leave it on top, or put it in the reading room. And then once again, when you play this from hand, this gains 500 times X, and X is equal number of music cards you have currently on the field. So say I'm just going to use some examples. You had this many cards on fields, and you play this. This would gain for this many cards. It also includes itself. So this would be to say 6.5 by itself. But if you see play second one, this one now has a full field. Had this in full field, this would be 7K instead. The power inclusion only counts for what's currently on the field, not by the time of battle phase. So if you really want full effect, you play that card last, or if you really believe you have enough as it is, you can just play a little early if you have to, so you have room for something else. Uneven pair. What is it? Yumiko and Roy. And what they do is when this reverse your card, you can put a marker. For every marker, this gains 1 level and 1.5. So it's like, so the more cards it defeats, it gets stronger and harder to beat. That's basically it. It's one of the few cards that can become a very big powerhouse. I would not rely on this. It's actually very easy to send this defeat this and send this away. If you get away with it, good job. 3 off time Risco. 6.5 hand encore. That's all it does. So it's basically your 1/1 6.5 hand encore. I use it for consistency, for power and consistency. Hibiki and casual clothing. When this gets reversed, if the battle opponent has a cost 1 and lower, you may put that into reverse. So it doesn't matter if your opponent is level 2 or even this. As long the cost of the card is 1 and lower, it's a certain defeat. So this is slightly better than a level reverser. It's a cost reverser. I believe this is the only one that has a cost 1 and lower. I'm not sure. I have to check someday. But this I only use this. This is actually a situational card where you need to beat a certain card, but you can't beat it because of some certain reason. Because like say like something like this too. Because you know it got too strong or something. You use this as kind of your anti cost I guess. I'm not sure. Level 2s. Haruka, center of 765 production. You may rest your music trait characters, and this gains 1000 power. And with this reverse level 2 and higher, you can pay 1. Then you can salvage a card. Now that's really good. Now I honestly thought that's a good effect, both of them. The first one, the rest for power, it helps it get the power it needs to beat the level 2s, and when it does reverse the card, a level 2 card or higher, you can get a free character back, or almost a free character back. Now this goes both ways, whether or not your opponent counters or not. If your opponent counters, if they counter only for equal, you'll still end up getting that character back into your hand. And if they go over it, that's one counter that was used for a card that would because of its low power probably would have died anyways on the next turn. So that's the reason why I only play 1, because this card is actually easy to beat. I only use it on my turn, and when I really want to force a counter out of their hand, or I want to get a character back, or if I can't force it out, I can at least get a character back in my hand. So I think this is actually a really good card, but only at 1 or 2, not too many. Super beautiful idol girl Yori, level support, counts for the amount of level they have, and then multiply that by 500. So if this was in front of it, this will only gain 1000. There is a second effect, but the effect is a climax combo, which this deck doesn't run, but I was playing anyways. When you play the climax combo, which is called Smoky Thrill, you may rest 2 characters, and all your characters gains 1500 power. So it's good for large power boost. The climax is 1001 soul treasure bar, which means if that card gets triggered, you can put it into hand. So the climax combo is actually happens more often than it sounds like. So by all means, it's actually a good card. I just don't run the climax because I don't need it. Then 2 level 2 counters. So you play this from hand, and your opponent that card gains 3000 power for that turn. So yeah, 3000 power. It's a character, so you cannot just run this. You have to run some sort of character counter, I believe. So I ran two of this. I think you can get away with just 1. It's up to you. Level 3 cards. Obnoxious Idol Haruka. This is a trial deck card for Idolmaster 2. When you play this from hand to stage, you can pay 1 damage, pay 1 stock, and do 1 damage. So this is good for trying to end games. If you're trying to end games, it's not bad. The effect is pretty good actually. So you pay 1, deal 1 damage. That's pretty good. And then when you play climax from hand, this character gains another additional 1500 power. So that's actually just luxury. But say if you're using something like this, so this is actually would be 2.5, and you don't get a soul, and you top that, you don't really get a soul. If you use something like this, it will be 3500 on top. If you use on top of that, and 8 triggers, it's pretty much the same as this. So yeah, I really only use it for the first effect, so it's up to you if you want to use this or not. I found it useful. There we go. I used 4 copies of Being Fancy Mickey. The first, when this comes from hand to stage, it heals. You decock one, heal, whatever you want to call it. And then if you have 2 of the event counters in your memory, you can play this at level 2 at no additional cost. This is the I would say the tech of the deck, kind of. This is really just a really basic deck. When you want to have at least 2 of this in your hand. Any more would be either for countering purpose or for fodder, I guess. I'm not sure. Or yeah, and then you can start playing this at level 2. So this is your this can be your level 2 game as well. It doesn't do anything else. It just so once you reach level 3, the whole level 1 -1 level in hand does no longer matter. So I think it's pretty good. It's by far the cheapest card to cheapest level 3 to send to the field. Sent to your field at level 2. So I think it's pretty good. There's a better one, but that one got restricted, so I can't use that in this deck. I use 3 copy of Risco, return to Idolm or something like that. When this comes from hand to stage, this card also heals. And then when another music card attacks, this gains 1000. So I'll just place all these here. So let's say this attacks first. These 2 will gain 1000. When this attacks next, these 2 will gain 1000. And then when this attacks, these 2 will gain 1000. Now I guess whatever's already in rest doesn't really matter. So basically this is your 1200 by itself attacker, I guess. I use it for powers, in case you really get over cards. It helps. It's more consistent than most cards in terms of power. So yeah, I think that's the deck. Thanks for watching. Maybe you'll watch the next one.